Ever wondered what your newborn baby is trying to tell you? They may not speak our language, but they definitely have a language of their own. Yes, it's a mystery, a baby language mystery. We often find ourselves scratching our heads, trying to decipher the meaning behind their cries, their coos, their smiles, and even their silence. Understanding a baby's communication can seem like a daunting task. After all, they don't come with instruction manuals. But fear not, it's not as impossible as it seems. It's a crucial part of parenthood, a skill that can be learned, a puzzle that can be solved. By learning to interpret your baby's cues, you're not only responding to their immediate needs, but also building a trusting relationship with your little one. It's like learning a new dialect, a dialect of love and care. So buckle up as we decode the language of your little ones. First things first, the cry, a baby's primary means of communication. Now let's dive into the crying code, the language of the little ones that often leaves new parents puzzled. Picture this. You're in the middle of a peaceful sleep when your newborn's piercing cry shatters the silence. Panic sets in as you scramble to figure out what they need. Is it hunger, discomfort, tiredness, or perhaps just a plea for attention? Let's start with the hunger cry. It's usually a low-pitched, rhythmic, and repetitive sound. It starts softly, gradually intensifying as time passes. It's like an alarm clock that's impossible to snooze. Then there's the discomfort cry. This one is louder, more abrupt, and tends to come in bursts. It's the baby's way of saying, "Hey, something's bothering me. Can you fix it?" Whether it's a soggy diaper or a pesky tag on their onesie, it's a call for immediate action. Moving on to the tired cry. This one is often coupled with yawns, eye rubbing, and fidgeting. It's a more whiny, less intense sound. It's as if your little one is saying, "I've had enough of exploring this big world today. It's time for a nap." Lastly, let's talk about the cry for attention. This one is a bit trickier to identify. It's not as urgent or intense as the others. It's more of a fussing sound, with intermittent pauses, almost as if they're waiting for you to respond. It's their way of saying, "I need some cuddles, please." Decoding your baby's cries is like learning a new language. It requires patience, practice, and a dash of intuition. And while it may seem overwhelming at first, remember that you're not alone. Many parents have been where you are now, and they've made it through. So the next time your baby cries, take a moment. Listen. Try to identify the subtle differences in their cries, because remember, all cries are not created equal. But crying isn't the only way babies communicate. Let's uncover the silent messages. You see, babies are extraordinary beings. They are born into this world with an innate ability to communicate, even though they cannot yet articulate words. Their little bodies, faces, and sounds are brimming with signals that can tell us a lot about what they need, or how they are feeling. Let's start with body movements. Babies use their bodies to express a myriad of feelings and needs. A kicking leg or a flailing arm might mean excitement, while a clenched fist could signal distress. Observe your baby's movements closely. They're like a secret language waiting to be deciphered. Then we have facial expressions. These can be a goldmine of information. A furrowed brow, a pout, or widened eyes can convey a whole spectrum of emotions. It's like a silent movie playing right in front of you, where every frame is a new revelation. But don't forget about the cooing sounds. Before they can say words, babies coo and gurgle. These sounds are their early attempts at vocal communication, and they are just as meaningful. A content coo after feeding could mean satisfaction, while a high-pitched gurgle might be a call for attention. Listen to these sounds as if they were symphonies, each note carrying a message from your little one. The key to understanding these silent messages lies in observation and intuition. Just like a detective, you have to pay attention to the clues your baby is giving you. Over time, you'll start to see patterns and understand what each gesture, expression, and sound means. Remember, your baby is trying to connect with you in their own unique way. They are learning to navigate this new world, and they need you to understand their language. So watch closely, listen intently, and respond lovingly. Your baby's actions often speak louder than their cries. Touch, a powerful tool in your baby's communication arsenal. We often think of communication as a verbal exchange, but for babies, touch is a key form of expression. You see, babies don't have a language as we do. Instead, they use their bodies to convey their needs and emotions. Let's delve into the world of touch, where a simple grasp or a slight pull can speak volumes. From the moment they enter the world, babies begin exploring their surroundings through touch. They reach out, they grasp, they hold on. But it's not just about exploration. Each touch, each grasp, is a sentence in a language only they know, a language we as adults have to learn to understand. Consider the simple act of your baby grasping your finger. It's easy to dismiss it as a reflex. But just like with adult handshakes, the strength of a baby's grip can convey an array of emotions. A strong, tight grasp? That's your baby's way of saying, "I feel secure with you." A softer, gentler hold? They're comfortable, relaxed, content. And what about when they pull away? It's not always a sign of distress or discomfort. Sometimes it's a sign of independence, an attempt to explore on their own terms. Other times, it might be their way of saying, "I need a break, I need some space." Touch isn't just about what your baby does to you, it's also about what you do to them. A gentle stroke of their cheek, a soft pat on their back, each touch from you sends a message of love, security, and comfort. It's your way of saying, "I'm here for you." Understanding your baby's touch language isn't an exact science. It's a journey, an ongoing process of learning and understanding. It's about being present, being attentive, and listening with more than just your ears. Remember, your baby is learning too, discovering new ways to communicate with you every day. So the next time your baby reaches out, take a moment. Hold their hand, feel their grip, listen to their touch. Because in the world of babies, a touch is worth 1,000 words. Babble, coo, gurgle sounds like gibberish? Not to your baby. Welcome to the fascinating world of baby talk, where every sound is an exploration, an experiment in communication. In the first few months of life, babies start babbling as a way of practicing speech sounds. It's a delightful stage of development, filled with adorable noises that are more than just cute. They're the building blocks of language. Each coo, gurgle, and babble is a step towards your baby's first words. It's a sign that your little one is starting to grasp the concept of language, that they're tuning into the rhythm and tone of your voice. And while it may sound like random noise to the untrained ear, it's actually a crucial part of their linguistic journey. But how can you, as a parent, help foster this development? The answer is simple. Respond. Engage with your baby's babble as though it's meaningful conversation. When your baby babbles, coos, or gurgles, react. Smile, nod, and speak back. This back-and-forth interaction is incredibly important for your baby's language development. Don't underestimate the power of repetition either. When you repeat the sounds your baby makes, you're validating their attempts at communication. You're telling them, "I hear you, I understand you, and I'm taking you seriously." This encourages them to keep experimenting with sounds and eventually words. And remember, there's no rush. Each baby develops at their own pace. Some might start babbling earlier than others. Some might prefer to observe and listen before making their own sounds. That's perfectly okay. What matters is that you're there, engaging with them, encouraging their efforts, and celebrating each new sound. It's also worth noting that babies are brilliant mimics. They learn by watching and copying those around them. So don't be shy about exaggerating your facial expressions and changing your tone of voice. The more animated and expressive you are, the more your baby will learn. In baby talk, every coo and babble is a step towards language. So, listen closely, respond warmly, and watch as your baby's language skills bloom one adorable sound at a time. Routine, your secret weapon in understanding your baby. Let's think about routines for a moment. We all have them, don't we? From that first cup of coffee in the morning to the way we brush our teeth at night, routines are a fundamental part of our lives. And guess what? They can be a fundamental part of your baby's life too. Establishing a routine with your newborn isn't about strict schedules or rigid rules. No, it's about creating consistency, a predictable pattern that can help you anticipate your baby's needs and respond accordingly. This is particularly useful when it comes to understanding your baby's language. Imagine this scenario. Every evening after dinner, you give your baby a warm bath, read them a story, and then it's bedtime. After a while, this sequence of events becomes familiar to them. The warm water signals that it's time to wind down, the story further eases them into a state of relaxation, and then sleep. Now let's say one evening your baby starts to fuss after dinner. But you know the routine. You know that a warm bath is usually the remedy to their unrest. So you start the bath water and sure enough, your baby settles down. That's the power of routine. It helps you interpret your baby's cues and respond appropriately. But remember, every baby is unique, just like every routine. What works for one might not work for another. The key is to observe, experiment, and adjust. Also, it's important to note that routines aren't just about the big things like eating, sleeping, and bathing. They're also about the small moments in between. The soft singing you do while changing their diaper, the gentle rocking as you feed them, the soothing strokes as you burp them. These little rituals can also offer clues into your baby's language, so embrace the routine. Use it as a tool to help simplify the complex language of your newborn. Let it guide you in your journey of understanding and responding to your baby's needs. With routine comes understanding. Mastering baby language isn't an overnight feat. Just as it took you months, if not years, to master your native tongue, understanding your baby's unique language will take time, patience, and lots of practice. Imagine you're learning a new language, say French. You wouldn't expect to comprehend a full conversation after your first lesson, would you? Understanding your baby's language is similar. You're venturing into uncharted territory, discovering new sounds, gestures, and expressions. It's a journey of trial and error. A journey where you learn to pick up on the subtle differences in your baby's cries, the nuances in their movements, and the changes in their facial expressions. This is where patience becomes your best ally. It allows you to stay calm, receptive, and open to learning from each interaction with your little one. Now let's talk about practice. The more you interact with your baby, the better you'll get at understanding them. This isn't about cramming knowledge or studying charts. It's about spending quality time with your baby. It's about being present, observant, and responsive. It's about learning to trust your instincts and not second-guessing yourself. Remember, every baby is unique, and so is their language. What works for one might not work for another. So don't be disheartened if you're not getting it right away. Don't compare your journey with others. Your path is unique to you and your baby. Also, it's okay to ask for help. Reach out to fellow parents, consult with pediatricians, or join community groups. Sometimes, a fresh perspective can provide the insight you need to move forward. In conclusion, patience and practice are the keys to unlocking your baby's unique language. It's a journey filled with joy, surprises, and a deeper bond between you and your baby. So embrace the process, celebrate the small victories, and remember, each day brings you one step closer to understanding your baby's language. Your patience today will be your success tomorrow. Understanding your baby isn't a puzzle to be solved, it's a journey to be enjoyed. And what a rewarding journey it is. As we wrap up this guide on deciphering your newborn's language, let's take a moment to reflect on the key points we've discussed. We started off by delving into the mystery of baby language, a language that, while wordless, is full of expressive cues and signals. We then unraveled the crying code, reminding ourselves that a baby's cry is not just a signal of distress, but also their primary means of communication in the early months. We learned that by paying close attention, we can start to discern different types of cries and respond more effectively to our baby's needs. Beyond the tears, we explored other forms of nonverbal communication. The power of touch, for instance, is a fundamental part of your baby's language. Through touch, your baby can sense your presence and love, and in return, you can learn to read their body language and respond in kind. Next, we delved into the world of baby talk, that delightful babble that is the precursor to language. By responding to this babble, you are encouraging your baby's language development and strengthening your bond. We also discussed the importance of routine in a baby's world. A predictable routine provides a sense of security for your baby and can also help you anticipate their needs. And finally, we emphasize the importance of patience and practice. Understanding your little one's language doesn't happen overnight. It requires time, patience, and a lot of attentive listening. But remember, every cry, every coo, every smile is a step closer to understanding your baby better. Remember, this journey of understanding your baby's language is one filled with love, patience, and deep connection. It's about being present in the moment, responding to their needs, and cherishing each interaction. So here's to you and your little one, embarking on this beautiful journey of understanding and love.